Hello, it's Ushalex here again, and welcome to this course where we'll be looking at another graphic design principle, which is movement. So, what is movement? Movement shows the look and feel of action. Let's look at some examples to help you understand what I just said. Now, look at this piece of art. It's Tom and Jerry. It's a popular cartoon where the cat is chasing the rat, where Tom is chasing Jerry. And looking closely at this scene, you can see at the hand of the cat, and you can see lines that are drawn. These lines that are drawn somehow used to create the impression of action. It shows you the angle of which the hand just moved. All right. So without these lines implying movement, this image might as well look like a still image. Then how do you communicate action? How do you communicate that this is actually a cat, Tom chasing Jerry the rat? By the designer had to put the artist had to put the lines. So these lines instantly create the illusion of action. So the principle of motion becomes important because when you're designing on a flat surface, and it's almost impossible to express motion. Like you want to show your audience that this thing is moving or there is motion. Let's look at another example. So by the top left here, you see a baseball player that hit a baseball with his club. You can see that there is lines around him to show the movement of the club. You can also see that the ball has lines around it that also implies motion. Then below that box, you can see a bouncing ball that just bounced on the ground, hit the wall, and is bouncing back. You can see how the lines were able to use to imply this movement. If these lines were removed, you can't tell if the ball was going forward to the wall or was going backward. But with the lines, we are able to instantly understand that the ball bounced twice on the ground, hit the fence, and is now going backwards or returning. You see how lines can be used to imply motion. And in every other part of this example, you can easily see how lines are being used to imply movement or motion in a still image or design. So here's another example of where the principle of movement has been used to imply have been used to show the look and feel of action. So here is a drink that is dropped into water, and you can literally see the burst of water. Whenever you drop an item into water, there's always the splash of water around that place. And this is what this image is implying. By mere looking at this, you can literally understand that this thing was dropped into water. And because the splash around the top of this drink instantly implies the splash of the water, which also shows action. So with these three examples, I've been able to show you how you can use the principle of movement to show the feeling of action. Now let me show you how you can still use this principle of movement to direct your viewer's eye in a design. Here is one of the images we have used in the previous courses, for example. Once you just look at this image, you see the image of this handsome looking man. And looking at his face, you can literally see him looking at the right part of the design where the texts are. So once you look at this guy's face, your eyes instantly follows the direction where his eyes are looking at, which is at the text. So immediately you look at his face, you are somehow made to look at the text as well. So in this image or in this design, the direction of the face of this young man has been used to guide the viewer's eyes to the message of the design. Let's look at another example where movement has been used to guide the viewer's eyes. Here is a design about Sami Okposo, and here, once you look at this image, the first thing you see is the face of Sami Okposo, and the next thing is his look or his eyes is looking at his name by the top right. So instantly you are made to look at his name as well before your eyes comes down to the title of the album, which is KBAC. So you see how the designer creatively used the direction of his look to make you notice his name before the title of the song. Then also here is another design as well where this principle is applied as well. If by mere looking at this design, your first thing you notice is the face of this woman. Once you look at her face, the next thing is the direction of her face is pointing towards to Lara Praise, which is her name. So the direction of her look makes you to also turn to the left where she is looking at, makes you to notice her name before you get to notice the title of the album or the title of her song, which is Kabiyesi Eshe. So this is one of the ways movement is used in design to guide viewers' eyes without even making them realizing it. Here is another example. By looking at this design, you see the image of a beautiful girl standing by the left, and she is literally pointing to the right, to the text written, "You are awesome." So this young lady here has been able to guide your look to the right by her hand pointing towards to that side. So this is another application of that principle. So these are the ways the principle of movements are used in design to guide attention of your audience and also to imply or show the feeling of action within a design. So in summary, we use the principle of movement to show the look and feel of action. It is also used to direct the viewer's eyes throughout a design. Showing the look and feel of action is important because it is difficult to express motion in a still image or design. So this principle helps us to communicate motion and makes it easy for our audience to understand our design. This brings us to the end of this course, and as an activity for this course, you have to share 3 designs with good application of movement as a design principles. So see you in the next course where we'll be talking about hierarchy as a graphic design principle.